Welcome to the Art of Learning Self-Love. I am Darla Williams, and I am here today to talk about creating a world full of your imagination. Um, One of the things in regards to the Art of Learning Self-Love, I actually got to a space where for a long time, I was working on myself and the inner work and the inner child and the divine masculine, divine feminine, and bringing everything together. However, when you first start out, you don't know really what it all means and what you're doing. You're just on a self journey to figure out what it is that you're looking for and what you want out of life, and working on the wounded spaces that have been created through experiences that you've been through. So, one of the things that I have realized is I want to really go deeper into the understanding of energy and emotion and how those two are actually one. What you are feeling and what you're seeing and what you're experiencing is the level and the vibration in which you are actually functioning and creating your world in. So, when you look at your life and you're dealing with the painful experiences of your life, what are you going to do? You're going to live in a lower vibration. And you can't generate the things in which you want to live and what you want to achieve and what you want to receive in a lower vibration. You actually have to meet it where it's at. And generally, the things that you want are on a higher level. So you are sitting and looking through the vibrational lines that are going on. It's like looking at a piece of paper. So when you're experiencing the negative in the bottom, you're down here. But your goals are generally up here. So how do you get when you're living a life down here on this lower vibration because of the experience? How do you pick yourself up and bring yourself back up so that you can meet the goal that you have? So what I had to do was figure out while I was going through my journey that no matter how much I was trying, I wasn't meeting that for a very long time. And it was because I hadn't done the inner work. So I had to actually begin working on myself, facing the feelings, experiencing the emotions, and actually feeling how I felt. Because it's easier for us to actually suppress our feelings, set them aside, don't want to do it, get too busy, can't focus on it, don't want to deal with it because it's just easier to set it aside and keep going. That is just our natural human nature, is just to keep going when we come to a space in our life. But what we actually have to do is climb back in and deal with those things internally so that we can actually heal and restore them. I spent a long time restoring myself. And in that process, I began generating and creating a desire and what I wanted out of life. And that included relationship, it included work, it included my family, it included every aspect of who I was and what I wanted. Hey, Maud, welcome to the group. I'm so glad you're here.
Hi, sorry. I thought I was muted.
No, it's not sorry. No, sorry.
Hi, Maud.
Hi.
So, looking at emotions, I want to ask everybody right now, I want to take a moment and ask each person to identify the exact emotion you are in at this moment. I want to start with Richard. I want to start with you because you are really good about coming into your feelings and expressing your feelings. So I want to start with you. I want you to take a moment and just identify where you are emotionally and how that affects the desires that you have in your heart right now to achieve.
I'm experiencing fear and I'm experiencing that a whole world has opened up of opportunity to create and teach. And this moment, I'm feeling frightened and excited. I definitely have butterflies. The old self-doubts, am I enough, come up. And what also is, I'm feeling tremendous compassion and belonging of my humanity. So my feelings of fear are my friend at this moment. I'm looking at them as opportunities to work with and grow and glow. And I'm experiencing the self-doubt, the unsureness, the not good enough, only as awarenesses that I can join with kindness, carry with me, and write a new story with them. I don't see that fear is defining me. Fear and excitement are energizing me at this moment.
Okay. So looking at the fact that you feel butterflies, you're experiencing that feeling of fear, being frightened. So you use a negative to propel yourself to a positive?
I'm so glad you asked that question. I want to reframe for me. I don't look at it as negative, and I don't look at my vision as positive. I don't separate my humanity.
Okay.
I see that the feeling is my vulnerability. And I also see it as my friend. The real gift is how I dance with it.
Right.
So when you ask the question, it's beautiful. What comes up? I went to my butterflies. I went to my little monkey brain of self-doubt, and my heart got a little bit more open. So all of them are happening in this moment. And I'm beginning to look, and my observer and noticer is saying, I'm really a pretty creative human being with a lot of stuff. How can I work and embody it this moment and also work with it this moment? It's really different than my old paradigm. Oh my God, I'm afraid. And then catastrophe, immobilization, and death.
I'm
And
so
I'm
glad.
angry at myself. And now I'm gentle because I really feel that I'll let it guide me and grow with it.
I love how you use that expression in regards to the paradigm. Because what happens generally when we have not begun to work on that paradigm, the inner work, the subconscious work, what do we end up doing into the patterns and the habits and the habitual behaviors that we have been programmed to be in? While we're able to separate once we come into that understanding and that you've already embraced. Now, what I'm seeing then by that, you are actually realizing that you feel the same, regardless of whether or not it's fear or if it's excitement. But it actually allows the same exact sensation through your entire system. So it can still create that feeling, can still create the same emotional and chemical release within your body. And that's what you're really explaining.
You put some really good framework. And I'm going to jump to what you said earlier, energy and vibration. And you started off the conference, you're here with this low energy and you want to get to this. And what I'm aware of that you're reflecting back to me is that I'm not separating low and high. I'm integrating
Mhm.
fear and excitement as similar energy. It's awakening energy. It's actually, if I put it in word, it feels expanding rather than contracting. That's cool.
So what I also noticed in what you stated was that you do still have the inner dialogue, the self-doubt.
I have an awareness of the thoughts, but the thoughts don't have me.
So
I-
what would you say helped you to begin to shift that so that you didn't have to take the ownership of the thoughts that were running through your mind?
One is I recognize that these are part of my history, but they're not my destiny. The other is I'm not trying to run away from and avoid and deny. So I'm allowing them to be part of my ocean.
Amazing. Amazing.
And then I'm looking underneath the thoughts and the feelings and say, what is this story about? What's the meaning? And I'm saying I'm bringing all of my life and vulnerability to engage the present moment. And that I'm the experience of them in my body. I'm the observer of them. And I also am just imagining launching them as energy to create from. They're awakening. So I think so much as I'm talking, Darla, is I've really shifted who I am and my relationship to my humanity. And I want to say, not that I've shifted, I'm continuing to shift.
Right. And then we're in an ever changing process every day. That's the part that's really important for everyone to acknowledge is it doesn't matter what experience we've been in, we don't have to be locked into that experience. We can ever change. We can always be with the flow and allow ourselves to come into that now. And regardless of what happened 10 minutes ago or what happened 2 years ago or 20 years ago, we don't have to stay in that moment. We can actually climb into the moment right now. And if I asked everybody on the panel right this second, how are you right this second? Everybody's probably going to be pretty all right because they're just in a space hanging out with one another. But whether or not we can actually mentally climb into that space is a whole other problem, is the other agenda or the problem or the situation that we're dealing with and functioning through at the moment. I love how you went from those intense feelings to immediately feeling the compassion for your idea, the compassion for your experience, the compassion for yourself in that. And then you went into the belonging. So your sense of knowing your position. You also continued on with accepting that all of the emotions and the feelings that you were experiencing are actually your friend. That they're not against you, but they're there to help serve you.
Mhm.
I love how you included that and that it allowed you to expand and realize you had opportunities all around you. Opportunities of growth, opportunities to serve, opportunities to help yourself or others, which is absolutely intriguing how you took and went from one to the other so smooth within yourself. So you've obviously done a lot of inner work with yourself, Richard.
Well, thank you. It's like you say, it's continuous. And the building block for me this moment is my relationship with Janet, because there's nothing more alive than a real learning laboratory called marriage. And there's nothing more regular and intentional, or the chance to be intentional. So we've been inviting, let everything that may uproot us, stir us, challenge our moments. We're beginning to collectively say, this is a gift to learn how to love. And one of the things that I want to share is, this is so beautiful, is I can get so frightened and uprooted and go back to all those places I'm wanting to outgrow in a moment's notice. In a less than a moment, what I'm beginning to learn, is how to step back, pause, and I'm like a little 5-year-old. I run away and grab my notebook and my pen. And I say, right now, no matter what, I'm going to come home to me. And I start to write and feel. And that's the first thing, because when I abandon coming home to me, I'm anywhere and everywhere. And I never thought I would ever write, because I never learned how to write. But writing is my friend. And then I go over it.
He's actually a really good writer.
And then I bring this paper and I say, Janet, this is my heart. I just want to do two things: to share it and create it with you. Nothing more precious than you to understand this moment. But I don't want this moment to define how I look at you and me. But I can't pretend it's not happening right now. And can we create from this together? Whereas it used to be the moments where the old drama triangle stir each other, beat each other, and break. And now there's some hope and faith that these moments empower us. So there's something really important in the tools.
Yes,
Not
there
just
really
their-
is.
Yeah.
That really is true. But that just takes you right into the rest of what you were saying. You know, you can grow and you can glow. You find that that space where you can get out of the unsureness through your writing. You're able to come into your full awareness, your kindness, because now you're able to focus your thoughts and actually be able to deliver what's really going on in your heart, because you're coming back to your center, because everything begins within. It's not without. It's not from Dr. Janet for you. It's actually from yourself, so that you two can come together from the core of who you are.
Thank you for saying that, because you've hit the really powerful. I used to believe up until now, and that Dr. J determined Dr. R.
Oh,
No, I would, if anybody asked me, did I believe that? I would lie to them. Of course not. I'm the captain of my own ship. I'm the navigator. I really wasn't. I realized how emotionally young and child that I get into that, I'm going to call it a trance of unworthiness, a trance, and they're literally taken away. So inch by inch, the writing, and you said, is I'm defining, I'm the, This is what self-love is. I'm the most important person to me. I really believe that now. Because without that love for me, there's no way I can connect in the world around me.
When you are in your fullness of you, here you are, you begin orbiting and you have your life and it's flowing together. Everything's coming together. Everything's dragging into you because you become the magnet of your life. And as you are going through your experience, all the things that are meant for you are going to come to you as long as you've done the work within. But when that other party comes into your life, it's seamless, it's effortless. It's like two cogs in the workings of a machine. Everything just comes together seamlessly and effortlessly. You don't have to put any work into it once you come into alignment within yourself. The alignment begins within. It does not have anything to do with anything outside of you. And that is actually really amazing that we were able to actually bring it to that, and that you can see that you can write yourself your brand new story and do your life the way that you want to, and that you are the creator of that story, making it come to that space of creating the world full of your imagination, bringing the two together and becoming the one and making it flow seamlessly. That's beautiful.
I thank you. But one of the things I'm so tuned into with understanding is alignment is not a permanent state. And it's one that is a continual invitation of awareness. And some days better than others.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a dance. It's an existential dance.
My final question in regards to all of that is, how does what you and I just discussed serve you on changing the trajectory of your emotion and energy from the lower vibration to the higher vibration?
Beautiful. I'm going to go to coaching school with you. You're asking, how does what this experience that we just went through impact me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. One is your presence allowed me to hear my own voice. This voice came from our interplay of questions and sharing. So this dialogue, Darla, helped me further create and feel in the moment what was happening. The other was validation. You shared with me, I see where you have been, I see where you're going, and I want to acknowledge and respect the shift you're working towards. What does that do for me is my biggest desire in life is to be acknowledged and validated, because my biggest wound was that I was never seen or acknowledged. So I had no way to connect back to me. So the interpersonal flow brought me back to me, and I allowed it to come in. And then the other was, I would say, you gave me some global perspectives. I started to shift words that I don't use. Alignment. You affirmed, you start with you, Richard. That's your work.
Mhm.
And then you gave me another thought. Not everything has to be a struggle, to struggle just for the sake of struggle. You know, you can actually flow and glow for a while and ride the wave. You don't have to be banging at it.
Right.
That's a new paradigm. I've always had to bang my head to know that I'm here.
Yeah.
And actually, After I bang my head, I really don't know that I'm here. So I'm going to close with thank you for the mirroring and the guiding, because I realize that change is an interpersonal as well as interpersonal.
That is beautiful. Thank you, Richard.
Hmm.
Dr. Janet, same question in regards to how are you feeling? What is your emotion at this moment? And how can that help you to shift from a lower vibration to a higher vibration?
I feel just kind of blank right now. And I don't know that I have an emotion. I feel like I'm just here and present. So when I think back at the beginning of our session, I was feeling full and content. I still think I'm feeling that. And just, kind of in that lull or low tide, just mellow, just kind of not really in an emotion.
Okay, but you are, because you're in the present.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
at this moment, you're connected. A
Mhm.
connectedness is allowing you to be a free flow.
Yeah.
So you feel that you're in a flow, you're content.
Mhm.
So being content, what does content bring? Does it bring happiness? Does it bring sadness? Does it bring confusion? Does it bring
Oh, when
freedom?
I'm in alignment, I'm always in that space of joy. Yet I know, there's also, like in the ocean, there's an undercurrent. I was talking with Richard yesterday about kind of the difference of, growing up in Michigan around all the Great Lakes. And if you look out at them, they look like they're an ocean. Yet, when you're at the ocean, it's definitely different. Even the waves in the lake can be huge, 6 to 8 feet, right, Joe? On Lake Michigan or Lake Superior, yet
Yeah, they can get up there.
they can get up there. And it was comfortable just riding in them because I knew I would just be brought to shore. But in the ocean, there's an undercurrent and it takes you back and it goes further out. So it's a different feeling. It's almost like being on guard. So I kind of feel that now, right now. I feel like surfacely above the water line, it's the glistening of the beautiful horizon and the sun glistening on the ocean, on the water. And there's an undercurrent. And yeah, so I'm aware of that.
So how does that take you when you're thinking about that, knowing that you just identified that you having a polar feeling, you have two separate feelings going on at the same time. Being that you have those two separate feelings, how can that take you to help you to create the world in which you want to live through your imagination? How can that take you from a lower vibration to a higher vibration?
Well, I have that choice. I have a choice to go under the water line. I call it below the water line, and bring that up in a constructive way,
Mhm.
or to, overlook it and allow it to just, stay surface. But I'm not very good at just staying on the surface.
You dive
At
deep.
some point, I'm going to dive down. And if I don't do that with care and intention and purpose, then my Scorpio that goes way down, and comes up with sometimes a surprise crash can take over me. So I have to really be careful with it and be gentle and conscious
That is
of how,
amazing because you just identified what you need to do for you. You
yeah,
need to be gentle with yourself.
yes.
It is so easy for you to get your sight on everybody else and everywhere else instead
Mhm,
of you. And
mhm,
bringing yourself back to your center and actually being able to work on the things within yourself, you'll be able to navigate through those tough waters much
mhm.
easier.
Yeah, yes. So true.
And it'll actually allow you to feel more peace
Mhm,
then. And that's what the top is. You found the way to calm the
yeah.
but because there are so much deeper that you're still dealing with that are still
Mhm,
trickling up, which we all are in our process every day. There's nothing
yeah.
wrong with that. That's what we're
No.
doing. That's what we get together for, is the fact that we all have something that's still underneath that we all have to begin working on and developing. But I love how you use the word choice.
Mhm,
We have a choice. We can determine our outcome by the choices that we choose to make. I love how you put that together. So
exactly. Yeah.
I really heard that, but you literally choose always to be right here, right now,
Mhm, mhm.
because that allows you to navigate your waters much easier
Yes.
instead of being over here in the thoughts or over there. And that how, so for yourself personally, how do you feel that that allows you to move from one vibration and move up into the goals that you may have, or
Mhm.
the vision that you may see, or how does it relate to you to be able to take yourself from the low vibe to a high vibe so that you can actually achieve?
Mhm. Well, when I can stay buoyant and kind of be above water and not get taken by those undercurrents by surprise, that means for me, I have to be in my awareness, in my emotional awareness, my social awareness, my self awareness to navigate through that and to be able to make the choices from moment to moment and stay connected to what's true to me, to stay true to my center.
Perfect.
Yeah. So to keep coming into alignment, maybe bring in more of those diamonds, or, bring my heart space, connect to that heart space so that it expands. And one thing I was noticing, what I was thinking when Richard, when you were talking and you said expansion, you feel the butterflies, you feel the monkey brain, and you feel the heart expanding and contracting. So as you expand, and the same for me, as I expand and open, my heart, kind of overflows out into all those places, and they come up into my heart so I can stay grounded and centered and allow my heart to expand, which to me is my ocean, where I make room for those other, little or big disturbances that are going on, those riptides underneath.
That is beautiful. And I love how you integrated that and was able to take some information from Richard and see an expansion even with the two of you in that.
I just got in listening that my fear and my old stories of not being good enough and all that, when I joined it, I expanded.
Mhm.
And what I was just aware of is with Janet as the undercurrents that we imagine can take us away, when I connect and expand with them,
Mhm.
my heart gets bigger.
And they kind of merge.
So there's
Yeah.
something about welcoming all of our humanity and learning to connect to it and feel it that is so essential to creation.
It really is. Hey, Joe, you ready? The question is, what is your emotion? And how does that emotion allow you to change from a low vibration to a high vibration?
Well, coming out of my last call into this call, I actually was dealing with some lower vibrations, some frustration, some anger, some disencouragement, and things of that nature. Talking about community and situations around the area, and when I was speaking about these, I was still speaking about them from a place of hurt, from a place where I was still feeling the pains of a past situation. And I'm grateful that that was pointed out. And I was trying to figure out how exactly to put it in other words, but I struggled with it. So it kind of helped me to realize that I am still dealing with pains from the situations I discussed. But at the same time, coming into this call and seeing Dr. Janet and Dr. Richard and you, my dear, it automatically raised my vibration. I'm in a better place. I recognize that I am not that situation, and I don't have to live that situation. And I've done many things to, don't want to say avoid, but to work around the community issues that I was discussing. And I recognize that, yeah, I'm going to have to go back and work on some healing for myself towards the things that were triggering me. And that's mainly because I recognize that I couldn't speak about it in a past tense. So obviously, like I said, it must still be creating issues within me. And for some reason, my battery's not charging.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, if we lose you, we know why.
but yeah, I just just bouncing around back between the thoughts of what can I do to be more at peace with the community situations that I was discussing. And it was kind of funny because we were literally discussing reaching out to the community to create more of a unity, to bring people together, because there's just so much divide going on in the country right now. So I don't know, maybe part of that fear is going back out and speaking to these people that have basically put me in my place and reaching back out and not allowing them to put me in a box and state, this is where you are, this is where you must stay, which is obviously not true. So a little bit of thought bouncing around about how to go about speaking with those who trigger me to work on bringing unity, to plant that seed, to give that nugget, to help bring people together, to help show that there's more than living with the addiction type of lifestyle. You can do much more than just feel like you got to be on drugs or alcohol and angry all the time.
Yeah, you really are in a place, an area of Michigan, and I think so much of Michigan is that way now, where you are up against quite a strong culture that's very opposite from where you want to move and grow and what you want to see. So being the change that you want to see in the midst of that is pretty amazing. It takes a lot of courage and strength.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of courage to do what we were discussing, and that just the whole get community to connect, and just the initial getting them to connect is going to be tough.
Mhm.
But I think once getting people to see that there's more out there than what you've been shown, I think things will really flourish from there. But it's that initial step. You know, we're all scared of that unknown. We all have that fear. We all get those uncomfortable feelings when we're about to do something where we just have no educated guess of what could occur. So, you know, just got to be on our toes and be ready to handle any situation with love and kindness, and not allow ourselves to fall back into those lower vibrations where triggered emotions are going to allow us to get angry or frustrated or whatever may occur, and just handle it all with a smile and really check in with the heart and ask, you know, where do we want to go with this? You know, how do we feel about that comment, and how do we want to react, and act accordingly?
Mhm. Are you meeting with people in your community right now?
That's what we were discussing.
Mhm.
And, well, so I'll just do a quick little rundown. So my area, there's about 9,500 people between Elgin Act and Clay Township.
Yeah.
And this area on a Facebook group for Elgin Act there was a good 36 people strongly affirming that Elgin Act is an alcoholic voters town and it won't change. On
Right.
top of the fact that there's high levels of heroin and crystal meth use. So
Yeah.
we've got a lot of pain in Elgin Act. We got a lot of
Yeah.
suffering. We got, you
Yeah.
know, we're paying high prices because we're a tourist town because of the Elgin Act State Park, but we have nothing to offset those costs. So I mean, gas is always like 20 cents more. I mean, I could drive 20 minutes away and get gas at an affordable price, but I want to keep putting money into my community. So I keep paying these higher prices, which makes things more difficult because I mean, I'm living on a fixed income. I'm not very financially well off at the moment. I'm working towards it, but living on the fixed income lifestyle and wanting to support your community that's clearly overcharging you for simple things just because there's the campgrounds nearby, it gets frustrating.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not being a lifelong resident of Elgin Act, I can stand back with that clear mind and see why a lot of this stuff is happening, but to think on how could I bring these topics to light without creating too much friction. I mean, once friction occurs, people are shut down, turned off, and walked away. And you know, we don't want that. We want interaction. We want hope. We want ideas.
Yeah.
And we want to move to a brighter future where we're not pissed off all the time.
Right.
So trying to dance that delicate dance has really been bouncing around in my head because this topic's come up 2 days in a row now. It came up yesterday in a mastermind, and it came up this morning in another. So clearly sources telling me there's something that I must do with all of this, and I'll just have to figure out how to dance that dance and make things happen.
Yeah.
One thing
Beautiful.
one thing that is so present, Joe, is, how do I put the best way to describe it? I got the vision in listening to you of walking away from your history. That yes, you were triggered, but you did something with the trigger. You leaned into it. You felt it. You experienced it. You named it. You claimed it. And you also redefined it when you said, this is where I was so uprooted and stuck. And now I know, even though the history comes back, I'm not at the same place that I was before. I know that I'm different.
Mhm.
My challenge and curiosity is how to create with others something new. But what I want to really affirm is that you are new.
So you see it from a whole different
Yeah,
place.
you are new. It's purely a mystery of how it will evolve. For one thing, you have made the shift. You're leaning into the fear and you're embracing courage as you go through the exploration.
Hmm.
So I just want to acknowledge you as the majority of one and let go of the outcome later.
Mhm.
Run blindly into the unknown.
Just jump. You jump into the unknown. You don't look, you don't hesitate, you just jump. No. But I want to actually share something with you in regards to this, babe. When you are looking at, here you were talking about the situation, you know, the severity within the community. We were talking about it even while I was up there.
Yeah.
The reason that it is so fueling to your fire is because when we come from a background and we've shifted, we speak from that space. And that's what gives you so much passion for it, is due to the fact that you've been there. You know how to speak to each and every single one of them. You want to know how unity is going to come. It's from those who remember you, those who saw who you used to be and are trying to figure out how you became who you are. When we go from that lower space and that lower vibration to that higher vibration in our life, which is what you've done, and that's why there's so much that triggers, is because now you're sitting here and you don't want to be this anymore. And you want to find a way to assist others to come into that space because you know how much your life is expanded, how much better things have become. And you want to see others to be able to shift into that in whatever level it is for them.
To share that with
Want to
them.
give that back, because when we come into that space, we have that heart of servitude that we want to go back and give. So for myself personally, when I do it from love. My whole existence, when it comes down to the emotion, so that I can move from the lower vibration to the higher vibration, is out of love. And it's because I go back to women who never experienced love, who have been abused, battered, beaten, and destroyed. So I go from love because I'm going back to such a wounded space. So the same for yourself, the passion that goes behind it, the words that you're doing, the reason you're triggered. Because what some of these women, when they come and talk to me about their life, what ends up happening is they will say something and I can remember a moment. And instead of now, because I've done so much inner work, I don't have to trigger back to the feelings and the emotions. Now I can actually lay the love that I found for myself out of it and actually apply that to them. So as you continue and you begin to work in it, because when I first started, I'll tell you, I don't know how many times I got triggered in it going, no, that's not acceptable. You can't accept that anymore. You know, I mean, I was reactive when I first began because I had a passion for it. But when I began fixing the things that were going on within over it, I was able to then actually lay the right words out and help them, to assist them to take the steps that were necessary and identify what they needed. Not what I thought they needed, but what they needed. And that's where you're at. You're in your transition
Mhm.
Also, I want to
from
say,
the being to the serving.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Richard.
yeah, I'll share this with all of you. I used to be frightened of being triggered because I made up the story. If I'm triggered, the blast from the past is going to catch me. If I'm triggered, I'm not whole, complete, and alive. If I'm triggered, I won't have any empowerment to move forward. and I've changed my experience of being triggered. When I'm triggered, I say, that's my humanity. And I don't have to be afraid of being awakened. Every time I'm triggered, it's a deep feeling that was laid in the midst of the pain. Be kind to that trigger. Have compassion for that trigger. Befriend the trigger instead of letting it be a ghost that's chasing me. Lean into it and join it and acknowledge that's my gift, just as you said, Darla. Everything that where I was then, but I still feel it as intensely as then at times. But that's also my gift. Just like my fear is my gift. Just like Janet's undercurrents are her gift. Just like our history of pain can be a gift if we look at it from a different set of eyes.
So I'm aware that other class is starting. Yeah.
So does anybody need to release anything today, or is everyone just good with the conversation?
I would be curious of what our takeaways are, since this has been such a powerful group.
Let her do her class.
We can continue it next week. We
Okay,
can continue just flowing through and using the same topic manner in regards to emotion, energy, and creating a world in which we want to live.
sure.
The art
Now,
of learning.
next week, I won't be here. I'll be in Arizona with my little grandson for Halloween. Yay.
We can always pick up
Richard will
another
be
time.
here.
If I can learn to get on this television, I'll be here,
Television.
or whatever this is.
We will figure it out. Just
We'll get it figured out before. I'm just getting the dogs and the cats scheduled now.
I
When
know
I
you
get-
guys need to go. So
Yeah,
thank you so much for your contributions today.
Thank
And
you.
thank you.
For your
Beautiful.
leadership.
Yep. That was an inspiring seminar. Thank all of us.
Wow, I just pulled 3 cards and they're 8s. They're all 8s. And the 8 of Wands, the energy, where we put our energy, deciding how to channel our passion, our fire. And the 8 of Water, letting go of all the undercurrents, letting them, as the octopus, bringing up all the undercurrents. And the 8 of Cups, of filling our love.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can you take a photo of all those and send them to me?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Beautiful.
will. Okay. It's amazing that all 8 came up, all the
Right.
8s. Yeah.
I like that.
Triple
888 on top of the
888.
message.
888. All right.
We have been walking in synchronicities lately.
Yes.
Go ahead and hit the end
All
on the
right.